Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Friday edition of the Paranormal Portal, and I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thrilled you're here. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being a part of what we're doing, what we do, what we try to do, being a part of our dream. You guys are a part of our dream, and we love you for it. So thank you, and hope you've had a great week. It's Friday. It's all downhill from here. If it's not, then I'm sorry. But for most of us, it's the weekend, and I hope you've got a great weekend ahead of you, which includes both Friday and Saturday editions of the Paranormal Portal. And I know that's the peak of many of my weekends. But we have a lot of cool things coming up here, and I'll get into that in just a second. But without further ado, let me introduce my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard.
Hey.
That was one hell of a grimace there.
Hey.
The people not on YouTube did not get to appreciate those pearly whites.
There you go. Hey. Hey.
Like you're gnawing on some rawhide there or something.
Hey.
How you doing, brother?
Tired, but excited. Like you said, a week or two ago, well, I don't even think it was that far, but you said, no matter how tired you are, when you get in here and you sit down and you get in front of this and you start this show up, you just get energized again.
Yeah.
And so I'm working on like my fourth wind.
Yeah, so. I know. Look at that screen. Why is that screwed up? Look at that. Why is there it's like the wrong frame or something?
Yeah.
Very strange. I don't know what that happened, but...
interesting.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's great. It's supposed to be green. There's supposed to be more green in there.
Well, I created a new frame for the scene that I made today, but it shouldn't have changed the existing one. I didn't think, but maybe it did. Maybe I screwed it up all across the board. But in any case, I'm not fixing it now, ladies and gentlemen. You are getting us glitches and all. Because it's just real life. I mean,
yeah, welcome to the portal again.
Yeah, I know. It's there's about a gajillion things that you have to do when you're doing a show like this. And I love every one of them because I think it's giving you guys the best show that we possibly can. And that to me means the world, that we try our best to give you the best show we know how to give you, because if we don't, then clearly you guys are not going to be paying attention for a whole long time.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just the way it works. So we always try to do that, but it's amazing the amount of things that I overlook on a regular basis. It's like, wow, how did I forget that? But clearly I did. So if you're looking at us on YouTube, you are seeing our background frame, which of course was developed by our
Nick Zervos.
Yeah, well, I was getting to that. Nick Zervos, our great friend, Mr. Nick Zervos. He built it. It's just beautiful. But I seem to have screwed up the order of the tiles now. You know what? I'm going to look through this quick if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
I'm going to just see what the heck is going on here. Yeah, that one's screwed up. This one's screwed up. This one's okay. The Don Solo one is okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just the split screens. How about the 3-panel? Yeah, that one's still good. Okay. All right, we're good. So, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but that's just me troubleshooting on the fly, which is
minute troubleshooting.
Real normal for the portal. But anyway, thank you for being here. Again, it's Friday night, and on Friday and Saturday shows, the call-in number does work, which you'll see if you're on YouTube. But if you're not looking at us live, then just know the call-in number is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998 or 833-TFR-LIVE. But if you're calling from the UK, the number is 44203-393-2871. Again, 44203-393-2871. So however you want to get a hold of us by phone, those are two great methods.
Or you can knock on the ceiling 3 times. Never mind.
Knock 3 times on the ceiling. That's Tony Orlando and Don.
Yeah. Oh, look. You just dated yourself. Look at that. Woohoo. Yeah.
It's all about self-love, Don.
Yeah, okay.
I'm good with dating myself. Thank you. See what I did there? Classic bait and twist. So anyway, here we are. I don't even know where the hell I'm going sometimes. I don't know. The dialogue just throws me off my game. But it's a good thing because it's always entertaining. And by the way, thank you to all you guys who have been giving us such amazing feedback. Our YouTube channel's just been getting a lot of incredible feedback. But I did get feedback from one listener, and I want to pass it on to you guys because it's something that you might want to check. Now, if you've subscribed to the channel, that's fantastic. And many of you have opted to click the bell, which should notify you when we're going to go live. But I did hear from a listener today who said they've been missing our episodes because they had clicked the bell, but for some reason YouTube had unclicked it or nullified it. And I don't know why, but if it is something that you're interested in being notified every time we get on the air, definitely check that setting. See if that bell is clicked for you, and if you're not getting notified, then it's probably been automatically unclicked by YouTube, because I don't think there's anything
censorship
that yeah they don't want to be spooked. I mean,
or
it's
they
not
just
like,
don't want us spooks on there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't think we do anything that's altogether too controversial.
And except when we talk about Men in Black, and then we have all kinds of issues.
Well, we did on that one show, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's so many crazy things that have happened just think about it, Don. During the course of the show,
oh, God.
So many bizarre things have happened
There is a truth
that just defy all logic, and it just, if anything, just watching this show should make you a believer in the paranormal. If you can believe us, because I mean, obviously we would gain nothing by sabotaging our own show. So I mean, it's not like we stage any of this stuff for a shock value or anything. I mean, there's no reason, because it makes us look stupid usually.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's normally circumstances that are well beyond our control when things go wrong. Not always. Sometimes I've screwed it up real good all by myself, but
or Microsoft.
Yeah, or Microsoft will decide to run updates right before a show, which is absolutely devastating to any kind of multimedia settings that you've had to comb through and tweak. Actually, Chris Geo was the one that helped me get this all configured, and after Microsoft boned me that time, it was just like, oh no. But we figured it out. We got it figured out. There was an episode that we started without sound in the recent.
Yeah, just like a week and a half ago.
Yeah, like a week and a half ago.
Out,
and it was like 7 minutes with no sound. I was like, oh my God. And those are the worst. I mean, they just, my heart is just racing like, no. So it does happen. But we got a lot of great shows coming up, and I hope you guys will if you're finding us on YouTube and following us there, you will click the bell. And if you're listening to us on iHeart, TuneIn, TalkStream, or TFR Live, tomorrow night joining us on the portal is Mr. Brooks Agnew, and I don't know what to say except for
get ready for baked beans.
Yeah, and they're going to be between your ears, because unless you're already scientifically minded, and if you are, fantastic, you should get a lot out of the show, because he really breaks down a lot of this esoteric phenomena into scientific principle that really helps to make it more plausible. I mean, because it's one thing to say, well, time slips, that's just a bunch of weirdos. But when there's someone like Brooks on, who is so well versed in, I mean, the guy has sat and had discussions with Stephen Hawking, I mean,
yeah.
and not that, any one person is just the epitome and be all of our existence. But, when you're rubbing elbows with Stephen Hawking, that probably means you know what you're talking about. So he's that guy. He's that guy. So he'll be on the show tomorrow night, and we'll be definitely looking forward to your guys' participation. If you have questions for Brooks, please get them ready. If you've got some scientifically minded questions that are hard for you to find an answer to, definitely tune into tomorrow's show, because it'll definitely help. I know that he'll be able to do it justice, whereas I would absolutely not be able to help you at all.
Yeah, we can only do speculation and opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and that's maybe without the vernacular, it's maybe just as valid as each is as valid as the other. But at least there's some kind of physics and quantum mechanics that he applies to these reasonings, and it just sounds so believable.
Yeah, no doubt.
And he's had quite a few paranormal experiences himself. And so, given that, it's hard for him not to be a believer. But really looking forward to having him back on the show. The first show was amazing. A lot of great feedback. So hope you guys tune in for that. Then, let me grab my notepad.
Oh, yeah. Got a couple more.
Yeah, we do. I actually got a smaller notepad that I'm going to start using, because this big one is, look at that, Don. Ladies and gentlemen, these are my notes. This is what my notes page looked like. Is that just not a mess? It's like somebody, I don't know, exploded. But anyway, this is So coming up after this weekend, of course, Brooks Agnew again on the 26th, tomorrow night. On June 2nd, our resident psychic, Deb Varner, will be joining us here on the portal, and she will be doing free call-in readings for listeners to the show. So that'll be, that's next Friday or Saturday, Don? The 2nd.
Next week.
Next Friday or
Saturday?
I'm
sorry. Was I actually supposed to look? Let me see here. My calendar says...
The 2nd.
You're an idiot. The 2nd is Saturday.
Okay, so next Saturday, a week from tomorrow night, Deb will be with us here on the portal, and we'll be looking forward to that. She's phenomenal. If you're new to the show and you haven't heard Deb, listen to some of the archives where she's on. If you go to youtube.com/paranormal portal, you can see some of the shows that we've done. I think we've done 2 of them now with her on, Don? 2 live streams?
With who?
With Deb. We've 2 live streams?
We've done a few more than 2, I guess.
Well, I mean, she's been on the show many times, but I don't know how many she's actually live streamed for. But I know there's a couple anyway. There may be more. We have a lot of videos on there now. And so she'll be on a week from tomorrow night. And then on June 8th, we'll be joined by Robin Moonshadow, who is a little people researcher. So proto-pygmies, little people, puckwudgies, gnomes, etc. She does not research fairies, though, so don't get the two confused, because she's very adamant that those are not the same thing. And I know some people lump it together, some people don't. I guess I always have tended to, but now that I've had the chance to talk with her, I respect what she's saying, because I know she knows a hell of a lot more about it than I do. So, but it'll be really exciting to have her on the show, because it's a subject that I'm absolutely passionate about. Those legends have persisted for so long for some reason. And people to this day still have these encounters with these little creatures that they don't understand where'd this come from. And if you go on YouTube, you can find several videos. Maybe a lot of them are hoaxes. Maybe all of them are hoaxes. But it's hard to know. I mean, you got to weigh it all with a grain of salt. But, I mean, it's at least interesting to postulate that they could be still here somewhere, much like the Bigfoot, much like so many other cryptids. So it'll be great to have Robin on the show. Really looking forward to that. And again, that's on June 8th. And then on the 23rd, June 23rd, we're going to have Linda Godfrey, who is a researcher, author of the Dogman phenomena. And she wrote The Beast of Bray Road, and she was a reporter at the beginning of all this, and then she got called to do stories about, and came across an account of the Dogman, and ever since then she's just really devoted herself to this subject matter. Again, another subject that's hard to find great people to interview, because there's a couple of shows out there that are dedicated to the Dogman phenomenon, and it's hard to top what they're doing. So I can't think of a better way to cover the phenomenon than to have one of the pioneers of it on.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
Yeah, so Linda Godfrey will be here, and that was, again, June 23rd, I think I said. June 23rd. So that's where we're at so far with our upcoming schedule, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys catch them all. It's like Pokemon up in here.
Oh, boy.
So those are the upcoming shows. But also, we have started a new segment to our YouTube audience anyway. Let me just look and first see how many people are joining us tonight, because it always warms my heart to see those numbers.
Yeah.
2,980 of you are listening on TFR Live, iHeartRadio. Look at 1,800 on iHeart alone, Don.
Wow, nice.
That's a cool audience. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
The phone line, 154. Tune in is 60, and actually there's more than that, because we don't have the numbers from TalkStream, so I don't know how many are tuning in from TalkStream. So wherever you're finding us, thank you for finding us. And again, if you're hearing the sound of my voice and you have not seen us do the show live, head over to youtube.com/paranormal portal, and you can see Don and I do the magic that it is that we do.
Yeah.
How did that sound with my tongue in my cheek?
The magic we do.
Oh, by the way, Don.
Yes.
Homework project for you. You want to hear about it on air or off the air?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so you've of course dedicated a lot of time and energy to putting us on DTube.
That's correct.
And DTube Live, and you've done a phenomenal job. And I have not looked into it much since you started doing that, but as you're pulling these episodes, make note of any special moments that you think would be great, because I want to make some promotional video of the show to to headline our YouTube page and to use elsewhere.
Sure. Yeah. So you want like spots like here's 102 of this specific one where Dawn misspeaks and says bean.
Yeah, when you're at an hour and 2 minutes and you're saying black-eyed beans. That would be great. Wow. That's a great example. So things like that you find, and cut them into segments and kind of like what Pixie did when she put together that video. Right. But I want to do about a couple minute long video montage of what the show is, because I think people come across Paranormal Portal and they're like, well, clearly it's paranormal, but why is this show so special? So I hope that if we could show what we do, that might help people to stop in, have a listen, and become part of the Paranormal Portal family. And so there you have it. Oh, I was going to talk about one of the new things that we've started doing as well is today I uploaded a video. Essentially, Don and I are going to be getting into more of the field investigating as well. And we have several things in the hopper that we're working on. But I've managed to rig my night vision binoculars with a GoPro. I went full ghetto on it, but it seems to work okay. But I put together a video of some strange anomalies I saw in the sky last night. And that is up on our YouTube page. So I forgot what I called it. I did call it Unidentified Flying Objects, because I don't pretend to know for sure what they are, but I know that I can't explain them. So they are up on YouTube on our Paranormal Portal page as well. It would be just the video before this one. So check it out and look for more of those. They're a lot shorter. I mean, our live streams are 2 hours long, and so it takes quite an investment of time. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to put up some new material that's in more digestible segments as well for people that aren't able to just devote hours to a show. So that's also coming up, and we'll be doing some other paranormal researching as well, or ghost hunting anyway.
Ghost hunting, yeah. Well,
what?
I misspelled something. Hold on. Remove.
Okay.
I meant I assigned them.
I'm sure that went the wrong way.
There, assign.
Okay.
No, it's not working.
All right. Let it die.
Yes.
So that's a lot of in upcoming things, and that's the laundry list. And it's it's funny because it takes about the full first half hour of the show to go through all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just the cool part about the show is that it's
the growth.
It's the growth. It's the expansion. It's what's happening. So, and again, you guys are it's all you guys. You guys are making it grow. You're watering us like plants that you love.
Like artichokes.
I've been doing a lot of gardening. Can you tell? Oh God. Like what?
Like artichokes.
Artichokes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Artichokes, 3 for $1.
Oh, are they?
No.
Oh.
God, I wish they were. I'd buy a ton of them.
I know, right?
Figure out how to put those.
I was gonna go shopping. I was like, screw this. I'm going shopping.
I go shopping.
Yes.
Caramelized barbecue sauce.
All right, so let's get started with our show tonight. So we're gonna do a show about encounters with the spirit world.
We are.
And that's what I thought.
Oh.
I don't know. You were kind of late getting here, so.
Well, hey.
I just threw something together. I'm like the person rummaging through the fridge to figure out what's for dinner. We're going to have tater tot sandwiches.
With mustard.
With mustard sauce.
I'll get the mustard with my fried taters.
And cheese, yeah. So that's me. That's like I threw together a show because I was just all wound out today. Going too many directions. But
I understand.
Lots of new stuff going on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting times.
Is
exciting times to be in the portal.
It is, and that's the beauty of it, is that it's the journey is continuing to evolve. So let's get into some of these stories of people encountering the spirit world, because it's always fun to talk about these. So let me see, where the hell was I? What did I found something that I thought was pretty funny, but I don't know if I can read it. What the hell is this? True. Okay. All right. Okay. This one's really long. I don't think I'll have time for this one. Take it away, Don. No, just kidding. Don't take care.
Well, I was debating on if I was going to go with Dancing Queen or Fernando, but whatever.
Oh God. All right, let me get reading here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's for all of our sakes. I've seen jellyfish-looking entities several times in my life, and I'm curious if anyone else has. Looking for shared experiences, I see them at night when I wake. They are very stark-looking, more real than reality. I don't know what that means, but almost cartoonish, but very crisp and high-res. They come in different colors and sometimes make electric popping noises. I see them for a time until my mind starts to fully wake, and then they vanish. I have heard these theories about what they are, but I'm curious to hear from others about it. Now, what I think is going on with that person, and this is something that I've I don't know how to say this without sounding absolutely mental, but...
Well, welcome to the portal.
Okay, so this is what I've noticed, and ladies and gentlemen, bear with me, because as far as I know, I'm absolutely sane, but,
That's what every
crazy person would say, right?
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, but this is what I've noticed. When I'm going to sleep, I there's like a point when you're between awake and asleep, and it's just this little thin layer. And I've been kind of keeping myself more aware going through this stage until sleep. And what I've found is that I hit this place where there's like conversations already going on. And there's people there that I know, but I don't know. And I don't know how to explain it other than it's like walking into a room full of strangers that you suddenly recognize. And they're having a conversation about stuff that, that you're on the very tail end of and you have no idea what it's about. But at the time, it seems like it makes sense. But then when you come out of it and get back to the waking state, it's like, what the hell was that all about? I don't know. Why was that going on? I don't get it. So there's this weird, it seems like a layer. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there in one of the chat rooms, let me know if this sounds sane at all, but
well, Ken said that he sees luminescent flying eels.
Oh, now that's very similar then to what this report is, with jellyfish, maybe eels, maybe that's the ethereal end of them. But the reason I brought that up is this kind of the reverse of that, where people are coming out of that stage, and they're kind of hitting that middle little layer,
right?
And they're able to bring some of the awareness of that with them into their waking mind until finally their, senses really kick in and they, ground out again or whatever. But
ground out, yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? It's like they carry a charge or something and they're coming through it. So I don't know. Very strange, but cool, Ken. Thanks for sharing that, because I don't know. Has anybody else experienced what I'm talking about though, where you hear discussions and you see people that you don't know when you're awake, but when you're in the experience, it's like, oh, that's Bob, and I know Bob, and I don't know how to explain it other than it's like this different level of consciousness or something that you kind of bump through.
Right.
I don't know.
It's gonna bump your head through.
I'm just throwing it out there because I don't know how else to encapsulate that into verbal form, with and still make it make sense. You've never experienced that, Don?
No, I mean, I don't know if it's like, just playback or leftover from a dream, but, I've had something kind of like that, or I'm just remembering it when I'm in the in-between, Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It's just one of those things that I've once again, I'm so insensitive to the paranormal that there's a lot of things that I'm sure I miss. So, I mean, this is just the way I interpret it. So,
well, Julie in the chat room says, it sounds familiar and makes sense. I get these stages too. I try to stay there when I wake up in the AM. And that's, I think that's probably the key, that it maybe is this altered. Okay. And Shannon says, yes, the in-between. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's something very profound going on there, and maybe that's when we're more tapped into this universal consciousness. You know, I don't know. I don't know how to. Yeah. Okay. Shanna says exactly. Cool.
Wow.
And
So yeah, see,
a lot of people are relating
makes
to
sense, yeah.
Excellent. That's good because you know I get nervous about putting it out there like that because you know you don't want to sound like an idiot, but at the same time I love sharing with you guys. So we're going to take our first break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back for more of the Paranormal Portal. Don't go away.
Radio Network.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
And action. Don's doing spirit fingers over there.
Boo. Boo. Boo.
See that from that movie, Bring It On? Remember that? Spirit fingers.
Yeah, but I like the boo better. Spirits boo. Okay, don't laugh.
I don't know what that means.
Spirit fingers. They're spirits. We talk about spirits on the show. Boo. Spirit fingers. Boo.
That is much more clever now that you've explained it than it was initially.
Apparently so.
Sorry. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a little slow out of the gate.
Kurt, one of our chatters, he says, you guys don't even have to say anything, and I laugh.
Well, thank you very much, Kurt.
Oh, thank you. Got another hour and a half of this.
Now we'll move into the mime segment.
Oh, no, God. Those are some of the, those are just French clowns, right?
I know they're clowns.
They don't have to be French.
There you go.
You know what this really means, right? This means I give up.
What means that? Wait, I got to get the camera up so I can see you. I got the YouTube feed up.
When they go like this,
yeah?
It means I give up.
Oh. I thought it meant 10.
Yeah, 10 times.
Amen, brother.
All right.
I give up on that joke. Boom, boom. Sorry. The entertainment's free, ladies and gentlemen. You get what you pay for. And so far, this is still free. So
no, Vamp, we're not going there.
Where's she going?
We're not going there. All right, we talked about that last week.
I see.
All right, so you had a big long story you wanted to get into?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get it.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me do that. I'm just noticing some new things here in the chat. So
Do eat.
All right. I'm doing eat. Done with the jellyfish. As fun as that were. All right. Let's get to the next one.
Can you grill those?
I don't know. They probably, you chop up their legs and put them in a little tempura batter and probably good to go.
There you go. Let's see what we can do.
All right. I was visiting my mother and siblings. I lived with my dad at the time for spring break a couple years back. I have 5 siblings, 2 older sisters, my younger brother, and my twin younger sisters. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry. That read really weird to me for some reason. The house she moved in was a complex somewhere called Metro West. Anyway, nothing strange happened the first night because besides the TV turning itself off when we were all gathered in the living room, but the second night was just freaky. I remember the time exactly. It's 12:01. I was watching Family Guy on Adult Swim. Great show, by the way. I haven't watched that for a long time, but I love that one. Suddenly I hear screaming from one of my siblings and the sounds of a belt being used on someone.
Oh.
My older sister and one of the twins and brother came out of the hallway in full force screaming about something picking up a belt and hitting them. Jesus. Oosh. My mom comes out of her room wondering what all the screaming was about, and then bam, the hallway door slammed shut. That was enough to scare me and my whole family out of the house, at least so we thought. Once outside, Mom was pretty much ready to get out of here and go to a motel until we heard, "Mommy, come get me, I'm scared." My little sister. It sounded like her, but the way it sounded was completely off and inhuman. We looked around, and sure enough, she wasn't with us. We had no choice but to go back inside. My mom called a Christian friend of hers looking for help and told her to say a verse from the Bible. I'll be honest, I've forgotten which verse it was because I was mentally prepping myself up to grab my sister and run. After opening the front door, we in unison chanted this Bible verse along with the guy on the phone. Apparently the spirit wasn't amused because only seconds in the house, it slapped the phone out of my mother's hand and scared us all back outside. The guy on the phone was my mom's then boyfriend, now ex, and he told all he heard was static on the phone at that moment.
Weird.
After building up the courage once again, we ran in and managed to find my youngest sibling in the hallway, her eyes all black, showing no hint of white. "Leave Charlie alone. He's my friend." My mom grabbed hold of her and shook her until until what looked like she gained consciousness.
Wow.
All she remembers was sleeping and waking up to see our frightened mother shaking her awake. Now, with our sister in her hands, we ran out of the house. Bam! The front door shut in front of us. We tried prying it open to no avail. before racing to the back door with no luck either. We were trapped in this house. We're all huddled together, frightened and scared, until something weird happened. We heard a knock at the door. No one moved, too scared to move away until I decided to check it out. I took a look through the peephole to see a tall figure wearing a jacket. To my surprise, the door opened, and almost immediately, we felt the whole feeling of the house shift. The sudden dread was replaced with peace and soothing calmness. The guy was wondering what all the screaming he heard was, and after hearing the situation, he just nodded and led us outside, saying, "A lot of houses in this area is like this, haunted by something. But I think you guys will be fine for the rest of the night." Then he slowly left. We returned inside, and sure enough, nothing else happened. The entire dread we were feeling was gone. I turned on the TV and the news came up, and it was 6:46. We all fell asleep exhausted. The next day we asked a few of our neighbors if they heard anything during the night, and no one heard our screaming or loud door slamming.
Wow.
We also never saw that guy ever again. Huh. Very strange. Very, very strange. I don't know.
Wow, the whole picking me up and smacking me with a belt thing just totally threw me. and then the little girl.
Yeah, the little girl was
that's
you know,
always
being pseudo-possessed. That's all kinds of creepy and wrong. Okay, this story brings us to the small city of Angels Camp, California. Something happened with my friend's family, and I'll leave it at that.
Huh.
We drive up to the house on the steepest road I've ever been on, probably around a 50 to 60 degree incline. We visit our friend there. The house was very active, multiple cold spots. Light would come on and off in the bedroom, closet, to the living room. In the hallway, there were flies that walked in circles on the floor. The thing that creeped me out the most was seeing the doorknob turn back and forth. Supposedly, my friend was attacked one night when I wasn't there. He said he was thrown against the wall and said he left the house never to return.
Yeah, you think?
He said for days after, when he would see people out of the corner of his eye, he would see them smiling at him with a half-skull face. I'll leave all that up to you to believe because I never saw it, and it is hearsay. He spelled it H-E-A-R, say. All right. But he never lied to me, and we were close like blood family. My first encounter was at my house when I was about 3 or 4. I would go out back, swing on the swing set we had, and after a while, I would get this feeling I was being watched. This is familiar. So I've read this second part of the story already. Yep, the dire wolf and some kid. Yeah, I've already read that part. So the first part we'd never read before.
Huh.
So that was new. So I'll just go on to the next, because that's how we roll. Now this one is called Ghost Under Bridge. This happened in the early 2000s in a town outside of Toronto called Oshawa, O-S-H-A-W-A. This happened when I was 9 or 10. My siblings are only 7 and 6, and they held my parents' hands on the pathway of the park. I, on the other hand, wanted to walk faster and thought maybe if I did, it would make them walk faster, so I started walking ahead, and no one speeds up. I continued and hit a curve in the path and could no longer see my parents. They were blocked by trees and bushes along the pathway. Ahead of me was a short bridge. I turned, and no sight of my parents. As I turned back to look at the bridge, there was a very tall man standing and facing me. I couldn't tell what his face looked like, but I could feel like he was staring at me. He was maybe 5'11", 6 to 6 foot 2 inches, and he was wearing a suit. He looks like one of that elegant man from the 1950s, and I would say he's around this 50s or 60-year-old. I stood there frozen, staring back at the man. I turned back, and I can see my parents. They weren't looking at me, but were having a conversation with my siblings. I was relieved. As I turned back to see the man, he was gone. Now, this bridge has a creek on one side, and on the other side it's a hill. It's a very steep hill. You need to climb on all fours. It felt like an eternity. In reality, it had only been about 15 seconds while I was turning around and look at my parents and then turning back to the man. Once my parents and I meet, We went through the bridge, and I didn't mention the man. I just walked through with them and looked at the creek and the steep hill. No sign of the man, no movement in the water, and no sign of steps on the hill since it was muddy, a muddy hill. You would see steps. Who was this man, and why is he here? I don't know.
He was the Black Knight.
Someone under that goes, perhaps it was just the ghost of a man who died there.
Gosh, go figure that one.
Yeah, well, that's, plausible. It's like the Scooby-Doo explanation. And I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for your nosy kids and your Snoopy dog.
Meddling kids.
All right. I crack myself up. All right. Oh. This one apparently is a demonic encounter. Ooh, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into this, know what I'm saying? All right, this happened around 2009. I was sleeping in my bed. I'm not sure the exact time, but I know it was between 1 to 5 a.m. That's quite a stretch. It's like 5 hours. Okay. You know when you're on your bed and you can feel pressure points when someone gets on the bed? Well, I'm sleeping on my side when I feel 4 pressure points on either side of me. It wakes me instantly from a dead sleep. I'm really freaked out. I can move, but I don't want to tip off whatever it is that I know it's there. I then hear this deep, gravelly voice right next to my ear start talking. I couldn't place the language. It sounded old, like maybe Hebrew, but older in that region. I just ignored it, but I kept getting angrier by the minute, like it knew I was aware of its presence. Presence, he spelled Presents.
Oh, I'll take some.
All right. Then it jumps off my bed with enough force to bounce me up about 6 to 8 inches off my bed.
Wow.
It was gone. I didn't hear it land. I drifted back to sleep and woke up at about 10 a.m., went outside, kind of forgot what happened that night, and went to bring in the trash can, but noticed the garbage wasn't taken and had a note about you can't throw feces out.
Ew.
I opened the lid, and the stench damn near knocked me out. It was the size of a grown man's forearm length and as big around as the widest part.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
That's one big turd.
I still think to this day a demon had visited me that day because I've never had that happen before or since.
reminds me of the demon in it was one of the Jay and Silent Bob movies.
Oh, God.
They go in the public bathroom and it's coming out of the toilet.
Well, you heard that saying, the bowels of hell. Wow, that could only come from the bowels of hell.
Wow.
Eesh, I don't know.
Hey,
I'm just looking at my forearm.
yeah, I know. I'm like
No.
long as my arm and thick as round. Wow. Hey, I was in Yandex and I Googled Yandex. I searched paranormal encounters with the spirit world.
Uh-huh.
And guess who came up number 2 after the featured links? That would be us.
The portal?
Yeah.
Wow, very cool.
Wow, we're on top of a search engine now.
Nice.
Woohoo!
Woohoo.
Now if we could just get to the top of the search engine. Google preferably.
Well, it's a start, right?
Also serious.
It's a
Yes,
start.
absolutely.
That's crazy, though.
That's why would somebody... Wow.
Somebody's commenting here. Wait, I'm a little confused. Do you think a demon took a duker in your garbage after it visited you?
Well, I'm pretty sure weird things have happened.
I don't know. Yeah, Maybe that's what all that chanting was about. It's going to take some work to move something that large.
Yeah, read the next one, too. Yeah, it says...
if you listen to what people have said when demons have visited, they leave
feces.
dukers or sulfur.
Huh.
I had never heard of the duker before.
Huh.
The sulfur is... people claim to smell sulfur, but I don't think anybody finds piles of sulfur. I mean, it's on Supernatural, the series, that TV show. There would be little yellow sulfur. It's like, oh, it's a demon.
Oh.
Like, oh, of course, see?
Oh.
And I think it's the smell of sulfur is the big cue that it could be demonic. And I think in a lot of cases that's probably just more elemental than demonic because, of course, the elementals being aligned with elements and earth is an element. But I don't know. Just a theory. I know the term demon just gets overused, though. It's like, oh, it must be a demon.
Well, before Freud came out and did all of his studies and, talked about, all that kind of stuff, everything was blamed on demons.
Sure. Well, I mean, there's always been evil spirits and there's always been wicked spirits, and but I just think that now there just seems there's of course a very very heightened interest in the paranormal now, which is fantastic. I mean, because I think it's important. I think it's important because, as I've stated many times, I think it's profound in that it causes us to question the reality and to start searching for deeper answer. And so, where the hell was I going with this? I had a point to all that, believe it or not, but I kind of lost it. But I just think that people misuse the idea that when anything negative happens, it must be a demon. I believe there are demons. Don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, and I know there's evil. But I don't think there are, demons everywhere you could throw a stick. Right. I mean, they exist, they're around, but I don't think there is such a proliferation of them as is implied. So, just my thoughts on it. I don't know, and I could be absolutely wrong. No, I know there's evil spirits, there's dark spirits, there's, people that were once human can be twisted and corrupted to the point of being like a demon, but a true demon is a whole different kind of animal, literally. Well, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's almost, like a force of nature in a bad way. Right. Certainly twisted and corrupted spirits can be powerful, but I don't think that they would measure to a demonic level in power.
Okay.
So, all right. So moving along. Again, those are just my thoughts. I don't know for sure. So if you have a differing opinion, I totally respect that, and you could very well be right. I'm just looking at the call board. There is no calls. So, all right. Here's a good one, I think. Did you find some to read?
No, I'm looking.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. I got a bunch, so
you're knocking down the good ones tonight.
The night my car speakers screamed at me.
Oh.
This one night, I went up to Sonora, California to a sweat lodge with some of my friends. The lodge was at one of my friends' home, and I had been there twice before. I usually go in the lodge, but at this time, I just brought the stones to the lodge during the ceremony. After the ceremony, we spent some time talking and having a good time. Then we drove back to my friend's home in Hollister, California, at the corner of Highway 25 and 156. I said my goodbyes and walked them to their door and got into my car. So far, everything is normal. I turned on my radio to KGO 810 back before they were sold. I drive out of their driveway to make my left-hand turn onto Highway 25, and in the middle of the turn, the sound in my speakers go completely silent, and a loud, blood-curdling scream comes from the speakers. It freaks me the hell out. I pull to the side of the one-lane highway, listening for what seems like 2 to 3 seconds of scream fades and KGO fade back. Now, there was no static or crosstalk like something was competing for the station. KGO is a 50,000 volt station. Something would have to be right on me to block out the station.
50,000 volt?
Well,
50,000 watt?
Watt, yeah. It says volt. I don't know.
It's a watt.
It's a watt. Okay.
What?
Well, it's 50,000 of whatever the hell it is that they broadcast with. So it shouldn't have caused their scream to come through.
Yeah, no doubt.
But very strange. I don't know. Could just be a ground issue.
Yeah. Why don't you fix that ground, eh?
Yeah, exactly. That's twisted. I think that would freak me out. Oh, look at this. This is interesting. Yeah, it's just one paragraph. Hello, I'm a researcher for a paranormal documentary TV program. Oh, this is an ad for somebody trying to get stories. People do that a lot. Maybe I should do that for the portal.
We do that.
Well, no, we certainly lobby our listeners. Like, if you've had something that's happened, please let us know. And by the way, please let us know.
Paranormal Portal Radio,
since we brought it up. Yeah, paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. You can email us the story. And Dory, thank you for sending in that account. I will definitely bring that up on our next show about UFOs. Thank you. Very cool. All right, so I'm going to skip that one because it's just fluff. Ooh. The Witch's Curse. My first paranormal experience, kind of. Kind of. All right, so before I begin, I would like to apologize for my poor grammar. It is one of my weaknesses, and any and all suggestions to help is appreciated. Okay, so my story starts a bit before I was born, and it's really my dad's story. So my dad is a pastor and has been in the church life since he was about 18 to 20 years old. He has seen some pretty messed up things in his life, dealing with the paranormal, including but not limited to exorcisms. One that was my brother. I can post another story about that later if people are interested. But there's one story that always stood out to me, and it was when my mother was pregnant with me. We were living in Reno, Nevada at this time, and some way or the other, my dad pissed off a witch. Not that surprising. My dad didn't really think about any of it until one day he leaves the house, and lo and behold, there is a dead black cat pinned to our door.
Ooh.
Yeah, not a pretty sight.
No.
Yeah. I am sure some of you can already tell where this is going, but for those of you who do not know, it gets a bit creepy. Weird things begin to happen at our house. Footsteps we heard when no one was around. Doors open and slam shut all on their own. My siblings had horrible nightmares, and so did my mom, mainly ones that involved me or my siblings dying in some way. But the one that really got my dad was when he was walking down the stairs, and all of a sudden the photos on the wall began spinning like crazy until they flew off the wall. After that, things began to pick up a lot, and my dad knew something was up. Things kind of end a bit hazy here. My dad's always told us that the witch told him she put a curse on us and that the house and that she wouldn't remove it. He then said they blessed the house and rebuked any curse or demon which is attached to them and to the house. He never said if it worked or not, but we ended up moving from the house, and soon I was born. Eventually, my dad and my mom divorced, and my siblings and I went to live with my dad. But the thing that always stood out was, even after all of the paranormal and supernatural always seemed to find a way to insert themselves in our lives. My dad would always make a comment about how, out of all my siblings, I seemed to be sensitive to them in some way or another, drawn to them.
Huh.
Yeah, that's bizarre and very plausible, I guess. There is something to curses. I mean, they are a real thing, but that's why I guess I feel like it's important to mind your words, because anything that you put out there with intention becomes energetic and binds to to whatever you're saying. So if you're really mad at somebody, be careful, because you could really be binding them in a very negative way, and of course then you deal with karma.
That voodoo goes so well.
I mean, there truly is karma. Things do come around. Things come back. So, mind your words. Mind your state of being, because curses are. I mean, they can be horribly elaborate, and of course, when bound with a magical tradition, they of course become more potent, I think. But just there's a reason they call them curse words when you're cursing somebody out. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason that saying exists, because
mind your vibrations.
Yep, you're vibrating something into reality, and it's an emotion, and once you do, it becomes physical, and whether you believe in that stuff or not, it's up to you. But just I'm just putting it out there. I don't pretend to try to impress my belief system on anybody, but I think it's important. On the contrary, if you vibrate out love and good things, then, again, the law of karma works both ways. Karma will come back to you and bring you good things. So that's what they told me anyway.
Blessings to all.
Blessings to all, and to all a good night. So we're about a minute out, about 30 seconds out from our next bumper. Yeah, dude, this night is flying.
Wow.
It just seems to go faster and faster.
Welcome to the portal and the time
Right.
slips that happen within. Wow.
Am I missing anything in the chat rooms?
Julia might be calling in.
Well, yeah, make sure to let me know, Julia. Oh, somebody
there's-
is calling in. Okay, so I think, Julia, you're on the phone right now. Just hold on.
Hold on, we'll get to you
We'll
after
get
the...
yeah, after the break, we'll pick it up, and we'll have a chat. So hang in there. We'll be right back. So the bell will be coming in, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back for the second hour of our show. Don't go away, because, well, it'd just be rude.
Well, because we're not.
Because we're not going, and you're not excused.
You're not excused.
We will
Stay
take
here.
attendance in the second hour, so just saying.
Everybody likes to play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping stars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. But I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I am finished with my silence. I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness. Just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise. You're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity. Just make sure that you're well fed.
Truth Frequency Radio.
This looks extraordinarily bad.
They linger in a perpetual dream state, a nightmare from which they cannot wake.
I can't see you, Mommy. Where are you?
I've never sensed anything like it. Carol Ann is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force. It is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeist are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and we are into the second hour, all right. All night, already, all right, all night. I don't know. Wow. We're here continuing to do what it is that we do. And I only have one thing to say.
That's for you, Lady Death.
Thank you. Thank you very much. He said it now. I don't know. I believe you, though. I seem to recall him saying that as well. So, I don't know. That's the Mandela effect. And ladies and gentlemen, what we're referring to is Wednesday's show. We did a show on the Mandela effect. So, it's one of those shows, one of those topics that pretty much everybody can relate to on some level, that they can relate to these memory issues. So, very strange. But before we forget, let's get to our caller, Miss Julia.
Julia,
you are on the air.
Julia.
Hi, don't forget about me.
I'd never forget about you. Welcome to the show.
So I wanted to talk to you guys about the sleep thing, but before I do, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear
Absolutely,
you fine.
yeah.
I just want to make sure. And I want to let you guys know, because you asked about the commercials, and while I was on the line, I could hear the commercials running.
Oh.
Right.
But on YouTube, it was just music, so I wanted to let you guys know that.
Yeah, because when you call in, of course, you're on the studio feed at that point. What you're hearing through the phone is the studio feed, but the YouTube stream is separate, but, the same but separate. We split it and send it both directions.
Just to confuse you.
Okay, well, you guys asked, so
no, I appreciate that.
Tell you. But,
cool.
Where are you going to
You guys were also talking about karma, and it was funny because my car broke down this week, and it really sucks.
Yes, it does.
And, yeah, it's a Subaru. It's one of the really nice ones that are in town. And you guys were talking about karma, and I was driving along Boyer, and there was a kid that was going to cross, but he wasn't really paying attention. And it's not like I didn't almost hit him. Nothing happened. I was just going too fast to stop. Mm-hmm. And I saw that another guy on the other side, he stopped. And I had my window rolled down, and, I saw the kid, and I was like, okay, he's looking the other direction. He's not going to go. So I went, and the guy yelled at me, and I was like, sorry, And then after that, my car broke down. So I'm kind of wondering if that's what happened.
Well, I hope not. I hope karma's not that particular. If that was the case, I'd be losing a lot more of my own gear.
Yeah, no doubt.
But that's horrible. And I don't know. But like you say, if they weren't going to hit the kid anyway, then that person was just being a little bit dramatic, I think. But some people just don't belong behind the wheel anyway, though. They just they don't have the temperament for it.
Me, I curse like a sailor when I'm driving down the road. Oh my God!
That's why you don't roll the windows down.
That must be a locals thing up here. Yeah, that must be a locals thing up here, because I have a 3-year-old, and I've caught her. Oh, Grandma! And I'm like, no, don't say Mama.
Well, this town's I'm sorry, hold on just a sec. This town's a walking town. So, Sandpoint, they say, oh, you can walk everywhere and pedestrians have the right of way and everything like that. But I think what people forget is there's still jaywalking laws. If you want to cross the street, you need to cross the street in the crosswalks, yeah. Period. Otherwise, you're breaking the law. So I'm sorry. Go ahead with your sleep story.
Nope, I get it. Well, you were talking about how there was that in-between state where you're either going into sleep or coming out of. And I find for myself, it's usually coming out of. Now, again, I have a 3-year-old, so I don't stay in this place very long. But I do understand what you mean about, like, the conversation. Right. I've heard that before. And I do try. I have been, it's kind of like a meditation thing. I've been trying to kind of stay there and look around and find the land and everything. But I also wonder, because it is almost every night, and it's about 2 o'clock because I stay up really late, I will be entering that phase of sleep, and Alice will wake up. And it tries me, because that's when you get really mad. And you're like, no, why are you awake? But I do wonder with this not really psychology of it, but more of the biology and a little bit of psychology and a little bit of everything. If we could take, like, I can't remember if it's an MRI or a CAT scan, the one that shows the brain activity.
MRI.
Yeah, that'd be MRI, yeah.
MRI. So you take, let's say, me and Alice, and you take us to a sleep study, and it probably wouldn't work there because it's a different environment and certain things and all that. But what our brain activity would look like between me and her, just because we're mother and daughter. And I say now, when she's young, because she doesn't quite understand it. So I wonder what our brain activity would look like in similarities as mother and daughter, or even father and son, or just parent and child, and how separate and how the same it would look. You get it?
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. Would there be? Because I mean, especially for the mother-child connection, because of course there's the connection, the 9-month connection or 10 months, whatever it ends up being, of being one body. And then of course when it splits, is there a continued biorhythm and a synchronicity between both, and that would be amazing to see. I'd be very interested in hearing more about that, or if any other studies like that have been conducted.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that, and I thought about calling a couple of the universities, or even just to do a sleep study myself, because I took, I think, half a semester of psychology, and I actually have a special watch, the Apple Watch, or it's not the Apple Fitbit. That's what it's called, the Fitbit, and it can supposedly, I don't know how well, track your sleep, and I haven't been using it for a while. But that's one thing that was interesting to me, because it shows supposedly, how long you've been in REM cycle, when you were awake and when you weren't, or whatnot. So you take that, and then you also, if you're able to, now I know a lot of people don't remember their dreams, but if you remember your dreams, to write them down and maybe compare them, even though you can't tell when you're awake or not, or even when Alice woke up, compared to what time I was awake and what stage I was in and all that stuff. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that for a minute, because you guys were talking about sleep. And Shannon, I'm calling you out.
Yeah, she said she'll call in when you're done. So there you go.
That's phenomenal. And thank you so much, Julie. I appreciate you calling in, and thank you so much for all your support and kindness to us as we do the show.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right. Good night.
I never knew that about Fitbits. About the whole tracking your REM sleep and stuff like that. Maybe I should get one, because, to see how often I actually hit REM sleep, because that's when you really get the rest, Otherwise I'm just hibernating, meditating, being peacefully quiet, peacefully being kind of a
Yeah.
subjective term there. But,
No,
you know,
I think that's true, and it would be interesting. I think anybody going through any kind of sleep disorder or sleep problems, that would be a great indicator of what the hell's going on.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
I know Larry's got one of those too. And he's,
I know Larry's got everything. That guy's got every gadget
yeah,
under the
a friend
sun.
of ours that
Holy good God.
Don and I both know. And he's a great guy.
Every time I saw him, he'd look over and goes, "Guess what I just got?"
No.
I'm like a babe with a gun. No, I've already got one of those. Wow.
One of those guys for sure. He's the guy that gets everything. But yeah, cool. Great to hear from you, Julia. Thank you for calling, and great input. That would be interesting. I'd really like to see that. I'd like to see if there's
that connection.
It would be neat to see prior to pregnancy, and then during pregnancy, and then after pregnancy, to see if there's an adjustment. That continues on, and some kind of synchronicity after the fact. That's really cool. Great points. And I'm sure somebody out there must have done something like that.
There's got to be something like that out there, yeah.
You'd think anyway. But if not, then Julia, you got to get your doctorate and get that done.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
So.
Do you get a special pillow when you finish that?
Yeah, it's shaped like a heart now.
It's shaped like a heart. That's so sweet.
It's full of love.
I'll just give it big hugs and squeezes.
So there's no other calls. So
Shannon, you said you were going to call.
Oh, it just came in.
Oh, ask and you shall receive.
I guess we've summoned her. Hello, Miss Shannon. You're on the air.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, hi. This is Shannon.
I saw that. It's great.
Oh,
that
wow.
you
This is weird.
It's weird. Well, welcome to the show.
Okay. I need to turn down my...
There, yeah. Turn your speakers down.
Yeah, I got to turn my computer down. Hi.
Hi again. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, speaking about being pregnant, and I was pregnant with my youngest son, Danny, when 9/11 occurred.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, there definitely was some weird... yeah, he was born November 19th, 2001. And, oh, wow.
Oh, wow. No, that must have been a horribly stress-induced period for you. Did you notice that you had more problems during the pregnancy at that point?
Well, that's what's so weird is I had 4 miscarriages right before I got pregnant with Danny, and I got to turn this all the way down. Sorry, that's better. Okay. And I had lots of premonition dreams while I was pregnant with him.
Wow.
Oh,
The whole pregnancy with him, I felt so good and safe and warm, and I still have that connection with him to this day. It's awesome.
Now, is he also sensitive then? Have you noticed that he?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, very much so. In my dreams, I'm living at home with my mom and dad right now, and he's 16 years old, and he's living somewhere else because we lost everything.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So anyway, I haven't seen him, but it's okay because in my dreams, astral or whatever that is, I've visited him and me. We're really close that way, and it's awesome.
Oh, that is
I'm in awe of him.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. And
he's only 16, and he's just the sweetest. But
I think
mother and son, that connection, it stays with you. I mean, it's just a special bond. It really is.
And I think these children coming into the world in the last 20 years have been pretty amazing as well. I mean, they're just 20-some years. Yeah, I've got my oldest is.
I
Go ahead.
Yes. I look at them and I cry. It's just because it's sad, but they are our future, and I have faith in them. I do.
Well, yeah, and it's because of that.
Gotta let them go.
That beautiful emotional nature that they have, it's what gives you hope for the future too, because I mean, these kids are so much brighter and
right.
No, don't get me wrong. I think there's a lot of things there.
I'm getting goosebumps everywhere. Oh gosh.
Yeah. There's a lot of things
anyway,
that
go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's a lot of things that generation has to learn
Yeah.
as well. That I think is maybe going to lead to some problems for them. But they have that profound emotional awareness and ability to bring such love and energy into the world. It's just really amazing.
Yeah, and me being so, I don't know, stubborn. I don't know. I was trying to control so much. I was so afraid of the way he was going to be in this world, where finally it took to where I lost everything and I had to let go, where I was able to let him be who he is and see him for what he is, where, I was trying to, just like my parents did with me, I was brought up very strict Catholic, Christian, no drugs, no nothing anyway. So anyway, he's dropped out of school now, and which is a good thing, because the high school that he's going to, there was so many shootings there.
Yeah.
I was terrified every day.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's enrolled at a technical community college where maybe he can get more help.
Right.
With the education. I mean, he's not learning anything in the public school systems. I've lost so much faith in that.
Yeah, when you start looking at things like, and I know this isn't what the show is about, but there's a lot wrong with public school systems, and there's a lot right, but there's a lot wrong when the Common Core and
there's
all
a lot
of that.
right and there's a lot wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say this right here, right now. They don't try to keep families together. They split us all apart. They took us all apart.
Mm-hmm.
My husband is a drug addict, and he left us, and somehow, and somehow they came after me for child support. He was abusive to me. It's just blah, 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 blah. But anyway,
I'm so sorry.
I'm doing good now. I'm feeling good now. I'm. The other thing too is I wanted to say about dreams. Sleep paralysis is what me and my older son, Sean, he beat heroin addiction at 23.
Wow.
He's now 25, and but me and him just recently, and sleep paralysis is a big, terrifying thing, and that's something I really want to talk with somebody about. How do you fight that? I don't know how to.
Well, it's something that I suffered from for years, and I don't know. I mean, it varies from people to people, but for me, the key was to be able to just move something, and just a fingertip or something. And it's a sheer act of will, because your body just doesn't respond, and it doesn't move. It doesn't do anything. You're just stuck. But I found that if I could get something to move a little, and then just
spell.
Well, at least it helps, and it gives you something to grab onto intellectually or what psychologically, and then you move more and you move bigger motions, and then I have to get out of bed. If I don't get out of bed, I'll slide right back into it. So I got to get up and walk around, and then I'm fine.
Yeah, see, my experience with it is totally different. Maybe it's not sleep paralysis. I'm not sure what it is, but where we used to live was on an old Indian burial ground. There's a lot of activity over there. Yeah. And I don't know if it's entities interfering. See, I don't know. But just recently, the sleep paralysis thing, it's just where I can't move, I can't do anything, and I'm afraid to go to sleep anymore.
You might want to try, since it's you're so close to a Native American burial ground, try getting in touch with your local tribe and see if you can get someone to make you a dream catcher.
Yeah.
And that should help to cleanse, and keep negative things away.
Right. And
sage. You can definitely sage if you believe it's because of a negative presence. at any time, sage or use, incense and things like that will definitely help as well.
Right. I do wish I had my own place. See, this is where I'm back at home at my parents, and I'm not able to
smudge and things like that. Yeah.
They think everything I do is witchery, sorcery, or whatever. They just.
That's right. That's
right.
Remember, she was brought up strict.
Yeah,
That's a tough place.
But, anyway.
But I think there's maybe ways that you could do it without involving them, or at least
a medicine bag or something.
Yeah, medicine bag. There's medicine bags. That's another idea.
Yeah, that's low impact.
Or some kind of talisman or charm that you could wear. I don't know, whatever your belief system is, and it's up to you to define what it is, but just find objects that are sacred to you and just know that they will help to protect and to push negativity away.
Right.
So.
Yeah, there's something going on right now recently. I don't know. I've had a headache since last Saturday. It'll be a week tomorrow that I've had this headache, but something's coming where it's going to be worth it. There's something happening. Because there's a big change coming. I feel it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, I've had to keep certain people out of my life. I had to cut them off completely. I thought they were friends, and they weren't. So they've been completely cut off now. And that was hard. But so I'm making changes. And anyway, I love my family, and I love you guys. And I love you, Julia. See, I called in.
Well, we love you too, and thank you so much.
I'm really a very shy person. I don't usually do this, so.
I'm really glad you did.
Anyway, I love you guys. I really do.
We love you too.
I really love you guys. So.
Awesome. Well,
yeah, I do need to sage. Yeah, I do need to do that. I'm learning, and I will. So.
Sure. Well, whatever works for you, but just, with any kind of ritual like that, it's what you believe in. So whatever you have faith in, whatever you subscribe to.
Right, and what I believe changes from day to day. It's just something, I don't have anything, rules written down that I believe in.
Right.
It's like I'm open. I'm learning. Yeah.
Sure.
So I think that's the best way to be.
Well, yeah,
not
you got to be. Yeah,
pressured.
definitely.
Everybody. Yeah, I mean, just like going to sleep at night. Everyone's different, whatever happens. I just want to let it go. I'm not going to control anything anymore. I'm just going to let it go.
Yeah.
Be free. So
exactly. But just, whatever you do, just believe in it with all your heart and mind that it'll be, that it'll protect you, and it will, that it'll cleanse, it'll push anything away.
And it will.
Yep, exactly. Even Jesus said it is done. It is done unto you as you believe. So
right. Yep.
Right. It's all about your intentions.
Yes.
I really believe that, and I'm all about love and harmony, and so that's where I'm headed. So.
Sounds like a good
anyway.
Good path. Well, thank you so much for calling in. It's a great.
I want to hear some more of your stories.
All right, my lady. I'll keep telling them. I promise.
All right.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. I love you guys.
Love you too.
You too. Bye. Bye.
That's the cool part about the show, is being able to, when people do call in, and I realize it's intimidating sometimes, but it's our opportunity to meet them. I mean, we meet them in the chat room, and of course we can talk and relate to them. But there's just something really cool about hearing somebody's voice and hearing their laughter, and even hearing their pains. It just makes it just endears me to them so much more. So thank you guys. Julia, we love you too. Thank you for calling in, and Shannon. That was awesome. You guys are great, and I think it's wonderful that you guys choose to listen to us. It's very humbling. But ladies and gentlemen, we're about a minute away from our last break of the night, and then we're going to be on to
the last half.
Oh, we got another call.
Yeah,
we'll get to that call.
Yeah, hold on the line.
After the break, we're about a minute out of our last break, so let's get to go through the break, and we'll pick up the caller right after the break. So
that's Jessica.
Okay, all right, Jessica,
Sweet.
hang on. We will get to you very soon, I promise. So we have not forgotten. And we haven't lost a caller tonight, so.
Wow.
I've almost lost many colors throughout the course of doing the show, but I think I'm getting a little better.
Getting better at it, yeah. Just hit that button one time and then hit it one more time after. Yeah, I think we'll be okay.
And if I do lose, you just call back in.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know.
Or you do just like D Swigger did when we left her on the line that day and we totally forgot.
I know, I felt so bad.
Love you, D.
Love you, D. So no, it's all part of the mayhem that makes up the portal, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna go to our last break, but again, make sure you like the video stream if you're watching us on YouTube. The likes definitely help to promote what we're doing and help YouTube decide to promote what we're doing as well. So the more you like, the more people find us. So
the more you'll like us later.
All right, but we're going to take the break, ladies and gentlemen, so don't go away. I haven't heard the bell yet, have you? There it is. Boom.
Jinx, pinch book, you owe me a Coke.
As if on cue. All right, guys, we'll be right back for the last half hour of the show. Don't go away.
protection from deception.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and joined by my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard.
Hey,
that's you.
We're back.
We're back, and without further ado, we have a caller on hold, so let's get to this call. Find out just what's going on. So, caller, you are on the air.
What? Oh, hello.
Hi, how are you?
It is I, Jessica.
Hi, Jessica, how are you?
I lost for a second. Darn it.
You what?
I lost you for a second I'm trying to share this with friends, and now I can't find you.
Oh, that's okay.
It's one of those weird things.
Well,
I'm saying, I'm going to be on the air, friends. So now I found it. There it is.
Well, that's good because we need as many friends to find us as we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm friends with everybody. So.
Oh, well.
Anyway, the questions. I don't know. I came in kind of late, and people seem to be talking more about social stuff or, rant and rave.
Sure.
So what are we talking about?
Well,
are they always aware of our presence? Do they suddenly become aware of us as we do them?
Yeah, I mean that's of course one of the some of the questions I put in the show description are how does this work?
This one is the one I wanted to talk about.
Sure.
Was because does it change depending upon the type of spiritual being encountered?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the line before that, I think that it kind of depends on your mood, maybe, and what you draw in. If you're feeling like everyone in the world hates you, you're going to draw in some negative power.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And that will, and that will just prove you right.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in that, what was Julius talking about, that in-between,
right?
In between sleep and
waking,
and deep sleep.
Yep.
Yeah, isn't that the ether?
That might be the best way to describe that is just traversing through the ethers. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not here, you're not there. You're kind of some weird stuff happens in there.
It does, and that's what brought that up was I was asking everybody because I have this experience when I'm falling asleep, and what it is as I'm drifting to sleep, I reach this point where I'm kind of not awake, but I'm not asleep, but I'm in this in between, and then I start hearing conversations that have already gone on, they're already in the conversation, but it's like I'm just bumping into them.
Oh.
And then seeing people
Yeah, I know exactly what.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're just people too. I mean, It might be an argument, but not usually.
Right.
It's la la la, and you can just barely not hear them.
Right.
Does that happen to you?
Yeah.
Right, unless someone says swear word, and that happens a lot. Or music, even as you're falling asleep.
Right, and music and meeting, knowing people that I don't know. It's like I'll see these people and that's Bob, and then I wake up and go, who the hell's Bob? What's that all about?
What about Bob?
Where did I meet you?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, but I don't know. They did a study on me one time when I was actually in jail about remembering faces.
Okay.
It was University of North Idaho down south.
Yay!
And they flipped the... Is that you?
That was Don.
We're in Idaho.
Is he from there? We're in Idaho. Yeah. But they came and they were doing, things to see how people's brains do on bad drugs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they flip over faces and faces and faces. There's these people, and they show them to you. You don't know them. And then you wait like a few minutes, and they start flipping over photos again.
Mm-hmm.
And And it's amazing what your mind can do, because it's like, yes, I've seen that person. Yes, no, yes, no. So these people that you're hearing, maybe, it might be people from a conversation when you were walking down the street one day when you were 8 or something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's very plausible. I don't know. It's just such a bizarre thing.
Plausible? Yeah. Oh, it is too. Yep. Strange but true, as my nephew would say.
Absolutely.
Because it is all of this stuff. And does it change? Yeah, that's what I wanted to say about. Yeah, if you're all creepy and ugly feeling, you're going to get creepy and ugly stuff.
Right. You're absolutely right.
It
has to do with resonance, and what you resonate is what's going to be drawn to you. Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Poof, yeah. My friends and I were talking about this apartment building where we live. You can even ask Julia, even though she's moved away. But I swear, I mean, a feeling, somebody's here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a mad guy. He was mad upset, like crying mad.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely a fella. Well, that wasn't nice. But I said, hi, hey, we're here. This is a happy house, and welcome, even though he was here before. Mm-hmm. And he's not been around since.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or he's here, but he's not here.
Right.
Something.
It's very similar to if you go into you meet someone new. Some people just don't get along.
Right.
And these were people, that had lives, and they're still people. They're just, physically challenged, I guess, might be the best way to put it.
Well, yes. Very, very.
But I mean, they're still the same kind of psychology, the same kind of dynamic. So sometimes you just meet somebody and it's like, God, I don't like that person. I don't know why, but I just don't like them. And you just don't gel with them. And then other people you meet and be like, oh, this is like my best friend, I mean, so I think that dynamic holds true in the afterlife. If somebody's decided to linger, they're going to have people that move into their place that they don't like. And then there's going to be other people that are going to be
oh
like,
my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one of the ones upstairs where my daughter lived there, and she said it was just peaceful, calm, so beautiful. I don't know what my brother is talking about, because she moved out, he moved in, and everybody that walked in that house was like, oh, it feels weird here.
Oh, well.
So, yeah, whatever he brought in, he's kind of an angry young man thing, and
well, it
wasn't nice.
Yeah, well, it just may be that vibration that you were talking about, So maybe that was there, and when your daughter was there, everything was calm and peaceful, like you said. But when he moved in, he brought that, and he awoke that energy or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah, like just when I walked into this apartment, and he was, you don't see anybody, but you feel a feeling.
Right.
And there was a feeling in that one corner of, it was, I knew it was a male, but it was more like, a little kid when they've been hurt and they're crying or something. They're really, when they get mad.
Mm-hmm.
When you're hurt and you're mad, though, too.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Anger, the secondary emotion. Mm-hmm. And I could just feel that coming at me. And I said, whoa, buddy. Whatever. This is a happy house,
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I've not felt that again. So,
wow.
I don't know if that's just all our brains or, the way I was raised, I'm probably playing with the devil for feeling things like that.
Right.
But
well, then you're in good company, is all I can tell you.
Yeah, like we mentioned.
No.
Yeah, we are far from normal.
Far from
normal.
I said
No.
we're far from
I
normal.
know.
Yeah.
I know. My mother told me I was special too. So.
And she was right.
Yeah. Yes. So, geez, this was very nice. Let's see. If you dare. I already did, huh?
There you go. There you go. Hey, and
no.
one time when we had Deb on, you were trying to get through or call in or something. Is that right? And you couldn't make it or what?
Yeah.
So we have Deb on.
Oh yeah,
Saturday.
yeah.
A week from Saturday. Deb
Next week.
Yes, she'll be back on.
Okay. All right. Cool. I would like to talk to her too.
There you go.
Okay, wonderful.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of trying to see if I can trick her.
I don't know.
Maybe
She's pretty slick. She's got some really knowledgeable guides.
Yeah.
Oh, she probably already listened to this whole thing. So.
She can be ready for you now. Uh-oh.
I've given myself away. So.
There you go.
Well, it's nice talking to you guys.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful to hear from you, too. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right. Thank you. I got to go tend to babies and kitties and stuff. So.
All right.
Well, have a good night, and thanks for being here.
All right, you guys. You too.
Okay, see ya.
Bye-bye.
Hey, when she was talking about all that, it reminded me of what, oh gosh, what is his name? Swift Deer. His last name's Reagan. I can't ever remember his first name. But anyhow, he was on an Art Bell episode, so long ago, and he was talking about shadow people.
Right.
And, what he said shadow people are, or at least a specific strain of shadow people, are entities that feed on your negative energy that you're purging.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're purging those negative feelings, they may manifest more over that time. And if you don't get rid of those negative feelings and you just persist, that's when they start to get agitated and violent to a point.
Escalate, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
they escalate, exactly.
Yep, exactly.
But once you purge that and you get back to your peaceful norm, they go away. So,
Right.
That's kind of what I was feeling when she was talking about that apartment. If you don't have that need to purge those negative feelings, or you just don't carry them around with you, then nothing will manifest. It just won't be there. But when she said, I think it was her son moved in, he had all those negative emotions and was purging all the time.
Right.
That then yeah, I mean that's just one way to look at it. Oh, hi, Cindy.
Oh, nice. There's Cindy. Hey.
She's staring at the moon like the big.
And that's an interesting point. I mean, have you ever spent time around somebody that's just always negative?
Oh God, yeah.
It makes you feel crabby too,
myself.
right? Well, but you know what I'm saying? It makes you feel just crabby. It makes you feel horrible.
Yeah, it's because I pick up their energy.
Right, exactly. It's just kind of and we all have an empathy, and so if you're around negativity, you're gonna become negative yourself. And the same could be true for Sunday spirits. Is that if somebody negative moves in, they're dealing with that energy all the time. It's just like, oh, screw this. They get angry too. So, but we got one more caller here, and we can get to Miss Diane. You're on the air.
Hi, Dee.
Hey, how you doing? Of course I had to call in because I made it in tonight.
Oh,
yay.
Thanks for being here.
Wednesday.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I couldn't make it in Wednesday.
Why?
I have been having all kinds of trouble with my internet and other stuff and my computer, and feeling tired and just a lot of things, and I was trying to figure out why, and I was having trouble contacting my guides, and I was doing all this stuff, and then I got to talking, and I called in. It's interesting how this happens, right? Called in because I think this is relevant to some things, what I had to do to get things to clear up, and then things just cleared the heck up.
Right.
I had to figure out what direction this was coming from, because I was really wondering. I mean, I was trying to figure out where's this all coming from. Turns out one of my other friends she's a little scary. I shouldn't really call her a friend. I think I've demoted her to a frenemy.
Oh.
Okay. She is a spooky girl, and I have not spoken to this person a long time because I tried for a long time. I kept saying, well, she's not really evil. She's just kind of dark and misguided, and and she really does try to do some good, but she's just. Well, you know what? I got tired of the drain of constantly dealing with that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I just stopped talking to her for a while. But of course, she hadn't forgotten about me. Now, I haven't mentioned this, but I've had some trouble. I have had actually interference with my guides, where I've had to cut. I've seen cords to them, almost looks like they're being yanked away. Had to cut them so that they could pop back and we could talk again. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Well, one of my friends, and I know how paranoid this, some people are, so don't think that that's what's going on here. I mean, I was rather surprised at the results of this. One of my other friends, she had come over for a consultation with him, the guy who's my friend who's a homeopath and Reiki master. And he mentioned something she said about me. He said, oh, yeah, she was just saying, you've got to watch your guides. They might be tricksters and so on and so forth. Particularly, she, warned me about how bad Bowie was and so on and so forth. And it's like, and I said, no, he's actually one of the nicest people one of the most helpful people I've ever met in the spirit world. Mm-hmm. That's another, for you newbies, we'll have to mention that. We'll explain that someday. But anyway, I said, no, he's really, people have weird ideas about this. But, I had to end up, he said that again, he brought it up again. She said, well, you might want to check into that. I said, I have checked into this numerous times. Mm-hmm. She just, thank you for warning me that I'm still on her mind. Mm-hmm. But she's the kind of person who will take personal items of yours, borrow them or just take them, and try to make a connection with you. And I didn't like that because, she's she's almost got this seductive energy. Oh. So, and so I got this joke where, you can be bisexual if you're going to be celibate anyway. What's the difference? Right. You're never going to put out. You can call yourself bisexual, and it can be, But she tried to seduce me. She tries to seduce everybody.
Oh, nice.
And it's for power over, and I don't like it. And so we fell out of touch intentionally. Mm-hmm. So when he told me that, I'm like, I wish she'd just forget me. But I knew what direction it was coming from then, and I'm like, okay, that's it. Yep. Everything of mine that she has, it's not mine anymore. I give it to her.
You
Boom.
Release it. Yep.
Yeah. It's yours. It's yours. Not mine anymore. I block you.
That's brilliant.
Cut all the cords.
Right.
That's brilliant.
All the cords to this. Boom.
Because if she was
now
the type
you have
to
more connection with me.
If she was the type to actually try to bind something negative to it, to the owner of the item, and then you released it to her,
bounce back.
Then she of course would absorb
right,
that. That's
now it's
brilliant.
yours,
very brilliant.
right?
It's all yours,
so
every bit of it.
And you don't know what I've been trying to even just get online. I couldn't even get on Wednesday.
Oh.
I couldn't even get online Wednesday. You don't know what I've been through. So I did that, and instantly my phone was even down. And it was like, of course, she was cutting connectivity.
Wow.
What she was doing something to disconnect me. And so that I would have to rely on her, probably. Because my other friend, like I said, he's noticed that her pattern is come in, find out about a person, create a problem, solve the problem, appear to solve the problem, look like a hero,
Right.
gain confidence.
Right.
She's basically a spiritual con woman.
Yeah, it's a martyr syndrome.
And I looked at it, right? What?
Martyr syndrome.
Yeah, and right. After I did all that,
Right.
I could look at it and I said, my God, we're talking and we're going, well, wait a minute. She's got a big ego. She's superior. She likes to be in control and have power over people. How did we miss this?
Yeah.
But we go down the list. Oh, hell, excuse me, sorry about that. She's Archon controlled. She's parasite controlled.
Right.
Because that's the way they are. Not really true compassion, want to be in control of other people, feel they are superior, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're looking at it and go, how did we miss this about this person?
Right. Well,
but some of them are just that good at hiding it.
Yeah, there are plenty
And
of people
making
that thrive on stealing that energy from others, and that's it is like a psychic vampire. I think that's a great reference for it. Someone in the chat room said something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what it is. When they derive all their worth and energy from you, that's they're basically a parasite.
Exactly. And we're there like, oh my God, how did we not notice this? How did she get that? Well, we're healers, okay? We're healers. We see a lot of people who have been downtrodden, had a lot of problems. We try to be non-judgmental, and sometimes we're so empathic that we just, because she is in a lot of pain a lot of times too, emotionally. Yeah. She's messed up herself.
Yeah, she's
living and she's not in a happy relationship at all. And I find that, and so we're like, oh, let me help you. But, sometimes that is how you get lured in. It's kind of like, help me, I'll help you back and all, it's like, but, I still can't believe that it's been this long. It's been this long that we, and we're psychics.
Right.
We're people who deal with stuff all the time, but still, she kind of lured us in with those heartstrings, sure. Help me. Not that I'm saying you shouldn't be compassionate, but my golly, when I think of the trouble that I went through, that cleared up immediately.
Right.
When I did this, immediately.
Well, that's
so if you have somebody,
I was going to make a reference to narcissism.
Exactly, narcissism is another one.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody in your life who fits these characteristics, narcissism is another one, yes, who's narcissistic and likes to have dominance and power and likes to control people and et cetera, on down the line, exactly what they call the archons. So that I don't call them I call them the parasites. But exactly that personality type, no matter how else they look like, because there are people that really believe in this person. Really think that she's a light worker and everything.
Sure.
And maybe some part of her wants to be. But, I'm going to keep intending that maybe she find her way out of this. But I can't have any more contact with her.
Yeah,
so if they are, then guess what? This person is not a light worker, okay?
You're right. But Dee, we're about to close the show here, so thank you so much for calling in, and it's always lovely to hear from you.
Okay,
we love
having
you.
Me.
What's that?
Thank you for having me. Loves and hugs to everybody.
Absolutely.
My para family.
There you go.
I love you too. Take care, and it's good to hear you. So don't miss any more shows, by the way.
And cut those strings with that gal. Get her out of there.
All right. Thanks, Dee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love you.
All right.
Bye.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that about brings us to the end of the show, and I just wanted to have a minute at the end to just say, make sure to tune in tomorrow night. Of course, our guest again will be Mr. Brooks Agnew.
Yep.
And it'll be another discussion about the science of the paranormal. So, really looking forward to that.
Yes, maybe this time we can understand him.
Well, I don't know if we have any much hope of that, but at any rate, he's going to make us sound smart. So, And that's always a good thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
So he'll be on the show. Don't miss it. That'll be tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Pacific time here on the TFR Live. Tune in, iHeart, TalkStream, and on YouTube as well.
YouTube as well.
We'll bring it to you every way we know how to, ladies and gentlemen. But we love you bunches. If you're listening on TFR Live, iHeart, tune in, TalkStream. Stay tuned for Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Jean and Brandy coming up next. So we'll see you tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. Love you bunches. Be good, be kind, be nice, and take care of each other. Adios.
Good night.
Whatever. You're not done with us, YouTube. What are you guys doing?
You can't get rid of us that
You
easily.
guys think you're leaving?
Yeah. Where are you going?
Stick around. We're not done with you yet.
What are you doing?
We're not done with you yet. Welcome to the extra innings of the Paranormal Portal. And so far the score is tied. I'm not sure who's winning. Not sure who's winning or losing, but we are just having such a good time talking to you guys that we just had to stick around a little bit.
Yeah. A couple more minutes and say hi and make sure everybody's still hanging in there.
Make sure our likes match our presence.
There you go.
How many we have now, Don?
Well, it fell down to 19 and we have 20 likes. We were at 23 people.
Good.
So,
okay.
Now, if you haven't liked it now, you have to like it now because we've gone long just for you.
Love it too. Love it too. But yeah, we definitely want to see those likes up. But I don't know. I'm going to read you one more story.
Sure. Go for
I'll give you the bonus story, ladies and gentlemen. I am really tired and I'm really having a hard time seeing.
Oh, Cindy says, come over. It's time to hear the Bigfoot.
Ooh, Cindy, you got to get this.
I'd love to be out there.
I know. Cindy was talking to us about doing some investigating this summer, so I'll be anxiously looking forward to that. And I got my my rip-off GoPro working with my night vision binoculars, so that may be fun to try out on Bigfoot researching as well. We will definitely show up if you invite us out, Cindy, to do some investigating. You just let us know when, and we'll be there. We got to do some more up
get more in there.
up in north a little bit here too. Check into what's going on with that structure. If anything, or in the neighborhood anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
You said you did check it again, though, right?
Yeah, I did check it again. I set those pictures, and it was kind of run down. It hasn't been taken care of.
Okay.
It sat through the winter, and it looks like, more detritus has fallen on it. The smaller branches and things like that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think anything's been back there recently.
Okay. Yeah, it might have just been one of those things that it may be just that we found it and our scent was all over and
they just said, well, screw
went,
that.
Yeah.
What are you going pee here for?
There goes the neighborhood.
Gosh, those humans are moving in.
Yeah, exactly. So you never know, but it'll be interesting to look into that and to look into more around the area.
Yeah,
I want to go back up to the Trestle Creek area too.
Oh yeah.
As I mushroom hunt up there and see what I can find, but I found some mini structures up there.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Well, and that's where you had your UFO sighting.
No, that was on Trout Creek.
Oh, Trout Creek. Sorry,
I'm talking Trestle Creek.
Oh, Trestle Creek. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, my UFO sighting was actually on Trout Creek Road. Back there at the 3 mile mark is where the cabin is.
Nice.
So way back at the end, right before the National Forest starts, where they block it off or, they block the roads and stuff. So yeah, very cool. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be doing some more investigating of several different kinds this summer.
Yes.
And it's all started now. So if you haven't checked it out on YouTube, that's the unidentified flying objects video.
I haven't even seen it.
Yeah, Don hasn't even seen it.
I haven't even seen it. You guys have seen more of it than I have.
Well, I suppose.
Gracious.
It's one of those things that it's there. I would play it, but it's like
No. Let
yeah,
people go and
I mean, yeah, if I include it on
subscribe
this
for it,
stream, then
yeah.
it's hardly worth you guys checking out that one. And it's, you know, like I said, it's a smaller bite. It's only like 15 minutes long, 10, 15 minutes long, something like that. The actual video that I shot is only 5 minutes long. So if you want to push through my dialogue and get to the video part of it, you can. And I narrate through that. But I got a learning curve with that equipment that I got to work on. So. But it was really cool to catch some weird anomalies in the sky last night, just as I was testing out the configuration.
Oh, it was great. He called me up. He's like, hey. He was so
what?
excited about it. He's like, I'm going to post it up. And then I haven't had a chance to go look at it. I apologize. I've been a busy boy today.
It's no reason to apologize at all. I get it.
Julia says it was a good video.
Oh, thank you, Julia. What did you think of that anomaly? Did you think that there was something bizarre? I guess I gotta wait for everybody.
Well, you're gonna have to be patient.
You're gonna have to wait. I'll wait while you type. So I'm just updating the show notes from the network.
I'm excited to look at it. So.
Yeah, it's you know, I mean it's a decent video. It's a decent first run out, and it's cool to get that filmed because that's the anomalies that I see all the time. Now that's my actual sighting that I refer to in the beginning was so much more profound than that, but. At least that's something up in the sky that I can't explain, and you know, I'm not an expert. I don't know. There could be some very mundane explanation for it, but it's confusing the hell out of me. So.
There you go. And we will talk about that later.
We will. So, but yeah, just keep spreading the word, guys, because this is growing. We're almost at the 500 subscriber mark, which. You know, by YouTube standards, let me just reiterate, by YouTube standards, 500 listeners or subscribers is nothing. But I know that the 500 people that are a part of this channel are interested in being a part of this channel. So I'm not into the empty subs, you know, just to build up the numbers, because it's worth nothing once you monetize to have a bunch of empty subs that aren't going to be watching what you're doing anyway.
Right.
So I'd rather, you know, get it monetized based on people being involved, you know. That to me makes so much more sense.
Geez, there's been 38 people who's watched that video already, Brent.
Oh, fantastic.
40. It just went, it went, me, I just looked at it. But that's because I'm posting it in the YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Because people are looking for it. So there's the video that he just uploaded about 6 hours ago about the anomalies. Oh, look, there's Brent. He's got all the lights on.
Oh yeah, it was daytime. It's
that's true. Yeah,
you can see the Portal studio in the daytime. It's a mess.
It's a studio.
Yeah,
it's not just the Portal studio. It's your recording studio. It's your your pottery studio.
My workshop.
Your workshop. So
it's a lot of different things.
It's got to be okay. So, but how you doing over there with those? You know what? Let me read this real quick. This is, this is out of a top 10 list of debunked paranormal things, and I think this is interesting. The Fox Sisters. You could say that the Fox Sisters initiated the spiritualism craze back in the 1800s. Maggie, Katie, and Lee Fox discovered they were able to communicate with the dead through a series of rappings. Communication between the living and the dead by tapping out a message on a table, board, or any firm material. They became such a sensation that they started to tour around the country, despite there being many non-believers. Led by Big Sister Lee, their seances grew more elaborate and objects moving, tables flying, even the spirit of Ben Franklin joining at times. But with the fame and fortune also came alcoholism for the two sisters. It got to the point where they started to scheme against one another and even went as far as Lee, the manager, reporting one of her sisters to the Prevention of Cruelty for Children. Thereafter, Katie's kids were taken away. After the tumultuous meltdowns, the sisters' career came to an end in 1888. Maggie and Katie decided to go public to debunk their gift. Maggie confessed that they learned to rap by flexing their muscles and demonstrated in front of an audience, while Katie stayed quiet and watched. The stellar performances came to an end as many people were furious to find out the truth, while others, till this day, believe that the sisters were the real deal, even after they debunked themselves.
Well, I think there was some controversy around them. I recall hearing about that, but there was, you know, I think at the end there they they ended up getting kind of selling themselves out. But I think at one point they were probably, maybe, that one's a long story. Let me get this one's called A Family Story About a Demon Baby. Very short one. So my great aunt tells a story from her grandmother, who was a midwife. Her grandmother was delivering a baby back in the early 1900s. After the baby was born, it jumped up on the end of the bed, let out a shriek, and died.
Oh.
It also apparently had a tail. Huh?
That just all of a sudden started to sound like the original New Jersey Devil.
I was thinking the same thing, actually. This is a crazy story that sounds made up, but her grandmother's a strong Southern Baptist, and if I know my Southern Baptists, they don't make up stuff about demon babies. I'm curious if anyone else has ever heard any similar accounts, or even maybe can provide a non-blasphemous explanation for that kind of event. Huh. Oh, this is then somebody below it references the Jersey Devil. It says, there's an old folklore of a demon child in New Jersey. The story goes something like this. A woman who was a mother of 12 was impregnated and carried her 13th child. She, however, cursed this child and claimed it was the spawn of demons. As the child was born, it morphed into a horrible creature with horns and hooves. The creature killed the midwife. Some say that the woman's husband was the devil himself. The creature is said to still live in the woods of Jersey, and when the night is just right, you can hear its screams. Of course, this is just folklore. Or is it?
Or is it?
Or is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those stories that have endured. I mean, the Pine Barrens in Jersey, they're that's and it's not that big of a spot. You'd think that they'd have it covered by now and find whatever's in there.
Right.
But of course they found a child in there one time, a girl, I believe. An orphan. In the Pine Barrens. And some people attributed it to her, and that she was the devil people felt that they had seen before.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know.
Weird. Did we communicate with a ghost? I've been documenting my girlfriend and I's paranormal experiences for a few months now. From writing our experiences down to audio recordings and a few times where we actually film it with our cell phones. For me, things have apparently calmed down as I haven't had any personal experiences for a few months. However, my girlfriend feels she has been experiencing things much more, such as touching in the middle of the night or movement of the bed. As of tonight, I finally had a new experience with my girlfriend as we're laying here on the couch watching TV. She was sitting up on the couch, and as I was laying across with my head resting on her lap, it's been warm lately in California, so we have a fan blowing on us set to low. There is an empty water bottle sitting next to her on the side table that suddenly starts rocking back and forth to the point that she felt it was going to fall over.
Wow.
The fan was blowing for a good long while, not oscillating and just pointed straight at us. The bottle was still for the longest time before that happened. It was rocking so much that she tapped me on the shoulder to point it out, and by the time I looked up, it was slowing to a stop.
Wow.
Seeing as we were trying to experiment with Snapchat months prior, she brought out her phone and started to mess with the filters to see if anything could be caught. Nothing. Then she started to film the model and nothing happened. She snapped a few more pictures with her regular camera settings to see if something showed itself, and still nothing. She deleted those photos and the videos since nothing was appearing. Then I started to get involved, as you'll see in this video. Oh, come on. Not until the 2:30 mark of the video, but you can see what we're talking about. As I get to leave the room, I cross in front of the fan, but it's not until I'm well out of the room and standing in the bathroom when the bottle and wrapper move. I come back to ask another question and leave again, not passing by the fan because I'm not fully in the living room at this time, and the bottle and wrapper move again. You'll hear me say it has to be because of me crossing in front of the fan, but it doesn't explain the initial moving that set all this off, and the second time where I wasn't near the fan at all. After we stopped recording, we tried multiple experiments to see if we can debunk the bottle moving from me crossing the fan again to just standing in front of the fan. Nothing causes the bottle to move. It was very strange. Then to top it all off, as we're going to bed, my girlfriend being in the bathroom brushing her teeth and myself in the living room turning everything off, just as I turn around to turn off the light, the cookie wrapper moved again. Bum, bum, bum. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. a bit of extra innings here on the portal.
Yes. Extra overtime. OT.
This is extra inning. Sudden death? Is it sudden death?
I believe it's sudden death. Yes.
Are you at the sudden death point?
Yeah, sudden death. Because I gotta work. So.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. Well, we love you bunches. Thank you so much for everything you guys have done to make this show nothing short of amazing. And thank you for all the love and support and encouragement and kind words. And all I can say is that you give us purpose.
You give us purpose.
You give us meaning. And,
we so love it.
Yeah, exactly. My eyes are totally glazing over with sleep-deprived state.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Well, it sounds like good night.
It does sound like good night. So thank you again. I'm going to re-roll the credits, and this time it'll be for real. So you guys have a great night. Thanks, and I hope we'll see you tonight on the Saturday show.
Tonight on Saturday show, yeah.
For Brooks Agnew.
There you
will
go.
Be joining us. So love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice.
D.
And
Brooks going to be on tonight.
Yeah, D. Brooks is going to be on. So make sure to have your phone ready to speed dial.
There you go.
So we'll see you guys next time here on the portal, which will be just in several hours.
Several hours. 23 from now.
23 from now. Or 20, no, 19.
Whatever
the hell it works out to be.
God.
We're far beyond math at this point.
We're
way past math.
Not mathletes, that's for sure. All right.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.